The attack at Berlin's Christopher Street Day shocked Germany, and it also restarted a debate about the role Islamist ideology plays in violence against LGBTQ people. Today, I'm talking to Tugay Saraç. He was once part of the Salafist movement himself. He later left it and now works for an open understanding of Islam and for the rights of LGBTQ Muslims. Welcome, Mr. Saraç.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Saraç, you were at the Berlin Pride on the day of the attack. You've also worked on Islamist extremism for many years. What was the day for you like? Did this attack surprise you?
It was catastrophic, I must say. Afterwards, on Sunday, when we had the sermon in Marienkirche, the multi-religious, to mourn the dead and the injured, I said that I can't remember a time where I was more sad than I am right now. Because it was catastrophic. I was at Pride with my husband and my sister, and we had a great time. We even said this is the best Pride we've ever been to. And then a terrorist attacked it. Was it a surprise? I think it's always a surprise, honestly. You can always expect an Islamist to attack an open place, and Pride is probably the place where the most hatred of Islamists is projected upon. But still, even if you can expect it, it's a surprise.
Maybe let's take a step back. As I said in the beginning, you were also radicalized by yourself. How did that happen? And what drew you into the Salafist movement?
For me, it was my own homosexuality. I was taught by my father, he never knew that I'm gay. He told me that homosexuality is something bad, something disgusting, something you should definitely not be. And he passed away in 2011 when I was 13 years old. And I thought somehow I need to make him proud now after he died. Um, and then I Googled Islam and homosexuality, and one thing led to the other. So I was scrolling through Islamist forums on the internet, watched Islamist influencers. Back then it was on Facebook and YouTube. Nowadays it's TikTok. And they tell you how to live your life. Everything is controlled by Islam at that point. Praying 5 times a day is not a problem, obviously, and fasting is not a problem. But then they start telling you how to drink a glass of water, and how to step through a door. And one thing leads to the other. It doesn't stop with religion. It goes on with political issues. In 2011, the Arab Spring started. So the Syrian civil war was something that politicized me, radicalized me. And nowadays, it might be and often is the war in Gaza for young children.
Now, looking at this attack at the CSD in Berlin, media reports suggest that the attacker in Berlin came from a relatively secular family and knew gay people, queer people personally. What does it tell us about radicalization? I mean, lots of people believe that maybe knowing members of minority groups reduces prejudices. Why isn't that always the case?
Yeah, that's a great question. My aunt is Seydan Ateş. She's the founder of the liberal Ibn Rushd Goethe Mosque here in Berlin. But still, she didn't have the influence on me not to radicalize myself. In the end, we're all individuals. In the end, we all have our own crises. For me, it was the death of my father. For others, it might be something else, something that drives you into looking for another community. Lots of people, me included, don't have the sense of, in German, you'd say Heimat, home, basically. I was not Turkish enough. I am not German enough. And when you meet up with these Salafi groups, they tell you none of that matters. What matters is you are a Muslim, and by being a Muslim, you are part of the chosen community. If you are a good Muslim, you'll go to paradise. And if you have a crisis, this can give you hope. It works the same way in right-wing extremist groups, of course, not with paradise and so on, but they give you a sense of home, a sense of family. So, yeah, it could always happen. Yeah.
How do groups like ISIS recruit new followers? Are they looking for people who are emotionally vulnerable or searching for a sense of belonging?
They definitely know how to do that. So you start with social media. You look at these preachers, and they are fascinating because they are so charismatic. They give you a sense of family, but then you are on social media, of course, and then you can find out, oh, this preacher I've been watching for a year or two or longer will have a presentation in the city you live in, and then you go there. It's for free, of course, and you meet lots of people that are very nice. The preacher is very nice, and they tell you, hey, why don't you come again? Why don't you come to our prayer on Friday? Why don't you come more regular? And that's no problem. Going to a mosque, I have to stress, perfectly fine. It depends on the mosque and the community you meet up with. And these hate preachers are very successful in keeping young people and giving them a family.
And maybe as a final question, what can families, schools, and society do to recognize radicalization early and stop it before it turns into violence?
Families can't close their eyes. Of course, I don't know the family of the terrorist that now attacked, but families can't close their eyes. They have to keep talking to their young family members and also older family members. They have to have an open ear, listen to what they say, even though it hurts and even though it feels like it's a waste of time. But at least the person, the one that is radicalizing, knows I still have a family that loves me. I still have someone that listens to me. But then at the same time, you also have to disagree with them respectfully. When it comes to school, I go to schools often. We do workshops in schools with students, with teachers. And what I have seen is that many teachers say, oh, but I don't know anything about Islam. How could I argue with them? And it's okay. No teacher has to have studied Islamic studies. It's not their job. But you have to disagree, even though you don't have arguments, even though if you only disagree based on our constitution, on the human rights, and the student will say, oh, your human rights don't matter to me, still you have disagreed and you haven't given them the stage to say whatever they want, whenever they want, because they will feel empowered by that. And then, of course, if it's too dangerous and it turns dangerous, you have to go the official way, unfortunately. Tell the police about it, whatever. But yeah, but hopefully it wouldn't come to that. Yeah.
Very important remarks, Mr. Sarac. Thank you very much for your time and for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.